Thank you for tuning in. My name is Chris Bye.
And I'm Roberta Scherf, and we're two of the creators of CalmConnect.
Today, we're going to talk to you about a unique self-regulation program called CalmConnect and how it helps those of all ages minimize anxiety, increase emotional resilience, reduce meltdowns, and change behavior for the better. We normally provide full and half-day workshops, so today we'll do our best to provide a review of CalmConnect, the science behind it, all within this short window. CalmConnect, or a version of it, has been used since 2010 when it was originally called MeMoves. In 2019, we took our existing programs, MeMoves, More MeMoves, and Life Moves, and combined them into one program called CalmConnect. CalmConnect is a streaming program and has found expanded use with populations of all ages, especially during the COVID-19 crisis. CalmConnect is used in thousands of schools, clinics, therapy centers, and homes around the world, with a majority of use in the US and Canada. CalmConnect is used to address anxiety, depression, behavior issues, trauma with a variety of populations, and it's different than anything currently in use. We all know music and movement are important to regulate the nervous system. But what makes CalmConnect unique and effective is how it incorporates authentic human connection in the form of loving, smiling faces that is reliable, consistent, but most of all safe. In this brief video, we'll discuss CalmConnect's origins, current research, and summarize some of the scientific theory it operationalizes. We'll also include video of those in the field discussing how CalmConnect helps them and those they serve.
"30 years ago, I was pregnant with my first child. 2 months before our son was born, my husband and I went to sleep at night in our snug little house in the country when it was 20 degrees below zero outside, and in the middle of the night our house burned down. The fire inspectors said it was a miracle that we were still alive. 2 months after the fire, I gave birth to the most beautiful, perfect little baby boy. And then after that, I was diagnosed with anxiety disorder, postpartum depression, PTSD, and agoraphobia. If you don't feel safe when you go to sleep at night in your own bed, where will you ever feel safe again? I quickly learned that that trauma was not just psychological, it was physiological as well, in every cell of my body. My body had changed. My digestion, my breathing, my hearing, they were all different. I was so anxious all the time, so on edge. Every one of my responses was heightened as I was always on the alert for danger. Nothing I tried helped me to get back to who I once was. So I learned everything I could about the nervous system, but 30 years ago, we didn't know nearly enough to help me find my way back. A few years after that, my amazing daughter was born with autism. Even as an infant, I could see her nervous system fighting a losing battle against the world. No one we consulted with at the time was able to recognize her Asperger's. We were given conflicting diagnoses, told not to expect too much. She might never learn to read. She would always require special accommodations. Nothing we did seemed to help her. Where I might have given up on myself, I was never going to give up on her. So I went back to the drawing board, learning everything I could and experimenting with rhythm, synchronicity, imitation, connection, a song without words. I made up a game that we played for a few minutes every morning and every evening. And then after about 6 weeks, out of the blue, she began to read. She wanted to be touched and held. She wanted to connect with us. I've learned a lot about anxiety over the past 20 years. In order to learn new things and navigate socially through the world with ease, your nervous system has to be calm and alert, But that doesn't happen unless you first feel safe and connected to other people. If you don't ever feel safe, you can't form bonds and be healthy, which is especially important for young children with developing nervous systems. So we took everything we had learned and put it together to develop a program for children with anxiety. But to our great surprise, it worked for people of all ages. Drawing from relational neuroscience, we worked from the theory that the human brain is designed to operate within a network of caring relationships. If you're isolated or cut off from other people, your emotional, mental, and physical health suffers. We were lucky enough to be able to operationalize a lot of groundbreaking research, including the polyvagal theory, social pain overlap, audiovisual synchrony, contact hypothesis to reduce implicit bias, all of this using a bottom-up, brain-based approach to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. What we did was to create a patented social engagement system that quickly calms the nervous system and builds a bridge to the social world using a series of short digital video sequences. Each sequence is just a few minutes long, with dozens of different people on screen, just one at a time. Some of them may even look like they're part of your own extended family, whether you're Black or white, Asian or Hispanic, young or old. In fact, the youngest person on screen is just 18 months old, and the oldest person is almost 100 years old. Each person looks at you and smiles. They don't talk. By design, there is no speech or language, no instructions. There's music, much of it written in the same frequency as the female voice. That mama voice that tells you that you're safe and you're loved. There are also patterns that appear on screen, and the people will start moving their hands to imitate the shapes. You can do that as well as if you'd like to, but you don't have to. In fact, we'd love to play you part of a sequence right now and show you what we mean.
From a sensory processing perspective, I'm always looking for tools that are going to help children get to that calm, just right space. And the beauty of it is it can be used in clinic, so I can take a few minutes to set a child up before we're going to work on other things, or it can be used in a classroom and works beautifully with full groups of children, and it works beautifully in a home program. So when we're really looking at tools that are going to set families and children up, this is like perfect because it works in all these different environments. What I find with it is that its design, visually, auditorily, set the nervous system up to get into a space in which there's active, alert attention and calm chemistry. And what we know as a therapist is that that calm chemistry is critical. Unless you've got that calm chemistry going in your brain, you are not going to be set up for learning. You're not going to be set up to be able to do all the other wonderful things you have potential to do. Is got application in all these different environments and can set children up so that whatever activities you're going to be doing afterwards, they're going to be in a better place to really get the most out of it. So consequently, not only are the kids calmer, more attentive, but they also, we're finding, are suddenly more interested socially. They are more organized. They're doing more sequential tasks. So it advances their skills on many different aspects. And the key piece, I believe, is that it originally sets them up for state regulation, and then the rest unfolds. Children are imitating other children and other people, and visually it's set up so that the child will naturally focus in on faces. So it really is laying core foundation for social interaction. It is also laying foundation because it involves slow arm movements, which gives feedback to the brain and helps the brain regulate and be able to imitate. How core is that? So many of us occupational therapists spend a lot of time working on this piece.
We have 436 students here at Riverview Elementary, pre-K to 5. 174 of those students are second language learners. So a lot of that, and we have two programs as well too. We have a community school and we have a dual language immersion program. But within that, we have a core students that their A score, and I don't know if you're familiar with A score, is pretty high. So when their heart rate is 130, here we come with this amazing program.
St. Paul Public Schools and Wayzata Public Schools researched CalmConnect's effect on off-task behavior in the classroom. And the results confirmed what we believed and had witnessed throughout the years. And in fact, the results were much more robust than even we expected. Both districts measured CalmConnect's effect on off-task behavior being getting up from your desk, interrupting the teacher, negatively engaging with other students, and in general, disruptive behavior. As you can see from the chart, St. Paul Public Schools measured 34 incidences of off-task behavior prior to using CalmConnect. These decreased each week after CalmConnect was used. By the end of week 5, they measured a 58% reduction in off-task behavior. Data was collected in 2 different schools and classrooms ranging from kindergarten to 5th grade. It should be noted the results were way stronger than the St. Paul research team ever expected to see. Both studies were pre-post design with data collected prior to using CalmConnect and then afterwards. All data was collected by social workers or teachers' aides that were already in the classroom and familiar to the students. Our only involvement in the study was to provide CalmConnect to the schools and to help with the initial study design. Wayzata Public Schools' study was similar to that of St. Paul in that they utilized a pre-post design, but Wayzata extended their data collection to 4 different elementary schools, with one school being a control group that did not receive CalmConnect. Also, Wayzata only collected data from 3rd and 4th grade classrooms. Over the following 13 weeks of data collection, Wayzata Public Schools measured an 80% reduction in off-task behavior. Dr. Stacey Lackner presented her findings at the 2018 Minnesota School Psychology Conference along with Dr. Kieran Day.
Hi, my name is Stacey Jacobs, and I'm the principal of a large elementary school in southern Alberta. At our school this year, we have been highly engaged in trauma-informed practice and creating a trauma-sensitive school environment for all our students. One tool that we used at the recommendation of a psychologist who was building our capacity as a trauma-informed school is CalmConnect. CalmConnect has helped our students to start to regulate in a way that is calming and focusing and prepares them better for learning. We see CalmConnect as a tool that is beneficial for whole classrooms, and therefore it is inclusive and it helps all our students to be more successful. It can benefit those of our students who are impacted by trauma, and as well as those students who are our typical students in a classroom.
Dr. Bill Steele founded the National Institute for Trauma and Loss in Children in 1990. He has created a legacy of trauma-specific, evidence-based interventions and resources being used in more than 50 countries. He wrote that CalmConnect is the one program that should be used in every classroom. In 2017, he asked us to contribute a chapter to his book, Optimizing Learning Outcomes, Proven Brain-Centric Trauma-Sensitive Practices. Feeling safe is crucial to forming social bonds. Social connectedness is linked to mental and physical health. Socialization is actually a biological imperative. Basically, we're social creatures who need others to exist and to survive. But it's a biological imperative that's difficult right now with the necessary social constraints of COVID-19. When children live in an anxious world surrounded by confusing-looking masked strangers, and their nervous system isn't able to determine who is friend or foe. Stephen Porges is a behavioral neuroscientist whose 40 years of work led to the development of the polyvagal theory, which provides us with a new way of looking at how the nervous system works and also gives us new ways to manage our brains and bodies specifically relating to anxiety, danger, and trauma. Our bodies constantly, unconsciously scan the world around us looking for danger in order to keep us safe. Porges's work emphasizes the biology of safety and danger through the interconnectedness between our internal states and the faces and the voices of the people around us. Essentially, we feel less stress when we're around people we trust because they make us feel safe. Porges's book on the polyvagal theory is definitely well worth reading. There's no way we could begin to convey the depth of his work here. That would take a week-long seminar. But if your nervous system perceives that you are safe, then the polyvagal system triggers the most sophisticated, adaptive, physiological response to stress: positive social engagement. The three main components that trigger positive social engagement, telling you that you are safe, are eye contact, vocal prosody, and gestures. Three of the same components that you'll find in every sequence of CalmConnect. Since 1995, research has confirmed that the human brain demonstrates a profound mirroring effect. We're able to understand some of the thoughts and feelings of other people through an act of internal imitation, where we're able to let some of their thoughts and feelings into our own head. We've all been part of that wonderful emotional contagion that takes place when a baby laughs in a room full of people, or maybe that gut-wrenching, horrible despair that you feel in every cell of your bodies when your team loses the Super Bowl. Or maybe a few minutes ago, watching the sequence, you smiled or felt just a little bit lighter. Mirror neurons allow us to know what other people are doing, thinking, and feeling, since the mirroring system provides information not just about sensations and actions, but emotions as well. Mirror neurons are part of the complex act of empathy. Marco Iacoboni is a neuroscientist at UCLA studying mirror neurons, and he wrote, "The mirroring system helps us in understanding our existential condition and our involvement with others. It shows us that we are not alone, but are biologically wired and evolutionarily designed to be deeply interconnected with one another." But when a child is anxious, under near constant stress from the environment, that anxiety can actively work against the natural physiology of connection, making it difficult or impossible for them to understand the feelings of others, or even to identify the sensations of their own feeling states. It's almost as though the mirrors might be broken, or at the very least, dormant.
To maximize the power of mirror neurons, simply staring at faces won't cut it. What allows us to focus on faces and tune into other people's emotions, which leads to a change in our emotional state, is when we also include movement and rhythm. Dr. Ami Klin developed his theory of audiovisual synchrony, which demonstrates that when specific sensory inputs are incorporated with human interaction, our ability to connect and relate to other people increases substantially. In one of his famous studies, Ami Klin found when he incorporated rhythmic clapping when subjects were viewing inverted and upright stick figures of people, the rate of connecting with the upright or correct figure increased from 24% to 95% for a toddler on the spectrum, and from 74% to 95% for a neurotypical toddler. In summary, when we include rhythmicity and movement, like those found in CalmConnect, children are able to relate to their world more accurately.
Rhythm is very important. It helps to build the foundation for all learning and socialization, which is why you'll always hear that steady click track all the way throughout every sequence on CalmConnect. Learning is based on pattern acquisition, which is difficult without basic rhythmic skills. Rhythm underlies patterns of breathing and movement and helps to organize incoming sensory information into coherent new patterns of learning. Steady beat is an important precursor for language acquisition. Rhythm is very important. It builds social cohesion. When two people move together in synchrony, they are likely to become more connected and as a result, more likely to help each other, work together, to collaborate. Research shows that with more synchronized movement, there is better relationship quality, better interactional outcomes, better all the way around. And synchronized gestures trigger the release of oxytocin, which is an important hormone essential for bonding and secure, safe attachment. Positive, safe social connections develop through the shared synchronicity that comes from facial expressions, eye contact, attunement, activating mirror neurons, and moving rhythmically with others. When synchrony is produced in experimental situations, it breeds feelings of liking another person and oneself, of cooperation and compassion, of successful collaboration. It's how we move from me to we.
We'll leave you with a video of our good friend Tiernan. Tiernan is on the spectrum and went from 3 meltdowns a day requiring restraints to virtually none when he started using CalmConnect. Thank you again, and we look forward to hearing from you.
He's gone from 15 minutes in the classroom at a time before he needs to go out to, again, 45 minutes, an hour, even longer than an hour at times.
Yeah,
Just
when we
his
started,
focus is-
he was, having meltdowns to where they would have to physically restrain him like 3 times a day, and now it is rarely at all. Like at most, he's going to have maybe 1 meltdown a month, if that. And so it's really definitely helped him for sure. So.
Like if he's on his computer and you can hear him getting a bit hyper, he'll take himself into the bedroom and you hear the Mimu's music start,
Yep.
and he can stay in there for up to an hour on his own just doing it. And to get him doing anything for an hour sometimes is kind of
It's amazing.
impossible. And he can bring it out on his iPad, and that music in the background is great.
It's fine, yeah.
It calms everybody, I think, not just
Yeah.
him.
Okay, which one would you like?
I like this.
That one right there?
Yes.
Okay. It gives us a common thing that we can talk about. With him, his communication skills are not the greatest, and so to be able to discuss that, he'll come up and ask us, "What am I doing?" as he's doing the
He'll
moves.
ask us to copy him and join him, because obviously
Yeah.
with his friends at school and at home and other family members, he doesn't have a lot of interaction with them. But this is something he will come up and actually ask you to copy him doing and show you how to do them. And
So it
you get
allows
to
us
interact with him.
to his world, really.
Yeah,
I mean, rather than us trying to bring him always into our world, sometimes it's nice to just be able to enjoy him in his world where he's happiest.
And you can see that on his face. If you join in with him or you copy him, whatever, the smile on his face, just because you're doing something that he loves as well.